Hi everyone, my name is Kira. For those of you who don't know, I am an adoption blogger. I decided to do this video just because I was getting a lot of people asking me questions and messaging me with asking me really about my perspective or my opinion about being adopted or certain things. And I just decided to have a huge Q&A so people can ask their questions and I can answer and everyone can hear about it and understand my perspective and my opinion on certain topics that maybe per se other people want to know about too. So starting off with a little bit about myself, I was adopted from the Guangdong province at the age of 3 to 5 months. And the reason why I say 3 to 5 months is because on my birth certificate it said 5 months and that my birthday is June 29th. But really that's an estimated birthday because my birth parents never left a note or any information on myself when I was found, which was near a hospital for me, that no information on my birthday or my Chinese name or anything like that. So the doctors really had to kind of estimate my birthday. But then when I came to Canada and they did a physical examination of me, making sure I was healthy, they said I was probably younger than what the Chinese government thought I was, which was 3 months. So I just say 3 to 5 months. And I now live in British Columbia, Canada with my family. I have a younger brother, an older brother, and my mom and dad, and my dog, and my cat. And just to let you know, my siblings are not adopted. I am the only adopted one in my family, so I get that question a lot too. Okay, so moving right on into it. Robin asked me, what is the hardest part about being adopted? And I came to the conclusion that the stereotypes were one of the biggest things for me. Being a different race or skin color than my whole entire family was really one of the hardest parts as well, and the fact that people could tease you on that. I kind of have my own bullying story about that, which I'll talk about later, I guess. But yeah, just the fact that you look a lot different than your family and people just assume certain things about where you've come from. And another thing is, this is another really big thing that a lot of adoptees struggle with, is the never-ending questions, really. Especially with Chinese adoption. It's really hard to find your parents or your family. So the questions that we all have for our parents, it's just a lot to really think about sometimes. And I'd say like the never answered questions is really one of the hardest parts as well. Beth then asked me, would you ever go to Wuchun and search for your birth mother? So Wuchun is my birth town in Guangdong province, and actually coincidentally Bethan's also from there too. We found each other a couple of months ago actually, and it's a really small town, so it's quite a coincidence that we found each other. But she asked me if I would ever go back to our birth town and see if I could try to find my mom. I really would like to go to my birth town again, where I was found. I would like to go to my village. A lot of people, though, they do go back, a lot of adoptees, and they do go back and they look at the place where they were found, and some of them do try to search for their birth parents. I don't necessarily know if I would want to search for her right now, just because I feel like the chance of you finding them is really, really slim, especially with so many adoptees and so many people in China. I would prefer to find them via like DNA testing, which I know is like accurate. So I'm waiting for that personally for me, but I think that I would like to go back to China, and I would like to go back to Wuchun and see if just see really how my life could have been if I lived there, I guess. I'd like to go back to my orphanage, although it did burn down and they made a new one and now it's an old folks home as well as an orphanage. So I would maybe like to go there. I would also like to see if any people in the new orphanage know who my caretaker was. She was the lady who handed me off to my mom in the bus when she first met me. I'd like to see her again, and maybe even try to find her, really, just because right before she gave me to my mom, I think she was my caretaker as well as the orphanage manager, I think, but before she handed me off to my mom, she started talking to me a bit, like just between the two of us in Chinese, and I don't understand Mandarin or Cantonese because Chinese is not a language, but I would kind of want to know what she said. That's another thing that I want to know. So I'd like to go to my orphanage, I guess the new one, and where it burnt down, look at the whole entire town and the lifestyle and the people, and see if I could maybe find my caretaker, if I could. And I'm going to wait for searching for my parents, just waiting for DNA testing. Caitlin asked me, do you ever wonder why your birth mother hasn't tried to find you? And also, if given a chance, would you meet your birth mom? Okay, so I actually thought this was a really good question. I never actually no one's ever asked me, do you ever wonder why your birth mom or your birth parents haven't tried to find you yet? And I don't know. I don't really know. I think probably one of the reasons is because China is so big. My adoption is a closed adoption, which means that there's no communication, no information. Well, they might have information. In this case, with China, there's no information about my birth parents, but there's no communication, no way to really contact them. And like my story of a closed adoption is probably with 98% of Chinese adoptees, maybe even higher than that, 99.9% of Chinese adoptees, just because with the one-child policy, a lot of us were adopted in that time, and which I was, and it was illegal to have a second child, and if you got caught, you would have to pay a lot of money, or you could go to jail, or worse. It was a bad situation, really. But I don't know, probably because trying to find me, I don't even know. Like, I kind of want to say there's no point. Not that I don't think trying to find her or her trying to find me is pointless, but I mean that at this point, with no information whatsoever of where I am, because really I could be anywhere in the world. She has no clue where I am, and trying to find me would be impossible, really. Almost impossible. So I think that's one of the reasons, because without DNA testing, it's so hard. And as well, China, they control the internet, and certain things are not allowed to be viewed in China online. So if she ever tried to find me, I don't know, through whatever, online, I feel like China would restrict that, and she wouldn't be allowed. They don't, yeah. I'm assuming they don't want their citizens to try to find their birth children, really. And that makes China sound bad, but really, they are very restricting to their citizens, and I really highly doubt that they would even allow that online or for them to try to find it. I think one of the reasons is because of the Chinese government restricting them, as well as the slim chance of finding me is I don't even know. It's so small. And she might be trying to live her own life. Maybe she has other kids and she's busy with that. Maybe she has a career. Who really knows? I don't know. And yeah, I don't know. And yeah, I would like to find her. Some adoptees don't really have any kind of, they don't really want to meet their birth parents. I do, though. I'm one of those adoptees who do. Yeah, in the end, I don't really know why. There's so many reasons why she hasn't tried.